Guide Code. This week, we are going to talk about 5 different topics. Guide Code number 1, how not to pick up the ladies. Number 2, what jobs make big bank. Number 3, what not to do on a first date. Number 4, how to get big quick. And number 5, that young struggle. Before we get started, let's meet each guest. E. Cummings, William Carlos Williams, Wallace Stevens, Ezra Pound, and Carl Sandberg. Let's get started.
Hi, my name is E. Cummings. I was born October 14th, 1894, in Cambridge, Massachusetts. My father was a professor in psychology and political science at Harvard University. I wrote my first poem when I was only 3 years old. I graduated from Harvard in 1916 and got a master's degree in English. College really helped shape me into the poet I am today.
Hello, I am William Carlos Williams. I was born September 17, 1883 in New Jersey. I had immigrant parents in Rutherford. I grew up with my parents and grandmother. America is the only place I can call my home. My family moved me to Europe for a few years to study in France and Switzerland, and I fell in love with poetry. I lived a very simple life, and I was a doctor for more than 40 years.
Hi, my name is Wallace Stevens, and I was born in 1879 in Reading, Pennsylvania. My father contributed substantially to my early education by providing a library to our home and encouraging reading. In high school, I became a prominent student by scoring very high with my test scores. I showed early promise as a writer by reporting for the school's newspaper. I later then decided to continue my literature at Harvard University.
Hi, my name is Ezra Pound. I was born on October 30th, 1885 in Haley, Idaho, a small mining town. I'm the only child of Homer and Isabel Pound. I had a happy childhood, and in 1901 I enrolled at the University of Pennsylvania, but left after 2 years wanting more, so I decided to go to Hamilton College. In 1908 I only had $80, but I decided to go to Europe and see what I could do there.
Hi, I'm Carl Sandberg. I was born January 6, 1878 in Galesburg, Illinois. I grew up in a very poor family. I left school at age 13 and went to work. I served in the Spanish-American War. While I was there, a friend convinced me to go to college, so I signed up for Lombard College. I worked my way through school, and I never graduated, but I worked at a newspaper writing articles.
Guide code number 1, don't be cocky when trying to pick up girls or else bad stuff will happen. My name is E. Cummings.
Hi.
I wrote my first poem when I was 3.
Okay.
I also went to Harvard and received a degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Are you trying to impress me?
That's pretty impressive. My poems were also published in the Harvard Advocate.
I still don't care.
Well, maybe this will change your mind. Let me
Really?
read you one of them.
Okay.
This is called Anyone Lived in a Pretty How Town. Anyone lived in a pretty how town, up with so floating many bells down. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. He sang his didn't, he danced his did. Women and men, both little and small, cared for anyone, not at all. They sowed their its, they reaped their same. Sun, moon, stars, rain. Children dressed but only with food, and down they forgot us, they grew. Autumn, winter, summer, spring. That no one loved him more by more. Wind by now, and tree by leaf, she laughed his joy, she cried his grief. Birds by snow, and stir by still, anyone's any was all to her.
Are you trying to put me asleep?
No, I have more. One day, anyone died, I guess, and no one stopped to kiss his face. Busy folk buried them side by side, little by little and was by was. All by all and deep by deep, and more by more they dreamed their sleep. No one and anyone, earth by April, wish by spirit and if by yes. Women and men, both dong and ding, summer, autumn, winter, spring, reaped their sowing and went into there came sun, moon, stars, rain.
You done yet?
Well, also I completed my master's degree in English and Classical Studies, which also helped me write this poem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job for you.
And I've been married twice, so.
Is that kind of like is that impressing me either?
Well, I also lived in Paris in Europe,
Really?
and I lectured at the Harvard University.
Oh. That's nice.
You should never try to pick up a girl like that.
Guy code number 2. What jobs attract the ladies? You want to know what jobs attract the ladies? High-paying jobs. Why? Because girls just want to spend your money. Hello, I'm Dr. William Carlos Williams. What can I help you with today?
I'm here to get my yearly shots, but I'm really nervous.
Don't be nervous. I've been a doctor for 40 years.
Oh my gosh, that's really impressive. You probably make a lot of money.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm a poet.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I studied at the University of Pennsylvania and got my PhD in studied literature.
That's really impressive and stuff, but I'm still really nervous about my shots.
Well, my poems usually focus on romanticism and philosophy, but sometimes my patients inspire me, so here's a poem. You're not gonna notice.
That'll help a lot.
Here's a poem, Spring and All. I by the road to the courageous hospital, under the surge of the blue mottled clouds, driven from the northeast a cold wind. Beyond the waste of bored, muddy fields, brown with dried weeds, standing and fallen. Patches of standing water, the scattering of tall trees, all along the road the reddish, purplish fork of standing twiggy stuff of bushes and small trees, with dead brown leaves and leafless vines. Lifeless in appearance, sluggish, dazed, spring approaches. They enter the new world naked, cold, uncertain of the save that they enter, all about them the cold familiar wind. Now the grass tomorrow, the stiff curl of wind-carried leaf, one by one objects are defined, it quickens. Clarity outlined of leaf. By now the stark dignity of instant still, profound change has come upon them. Roots they drift down and begin to awaken.
Wow. That was really good. That helped me out a lot. I think I'm ready.
Okay, you ready for a shot?
Yeah, I guess so.
1, 2.
Oh my god, that didn't even hurt at all. Maybe we should go to dinner sometime.
That's sweet of you to ask, but I have 2 kids waiting for me at home.
So, is that a no?
Yeah, sorry. Maybe next time.
Oh.
Doctors, yeah, they pick up ladies.
Guy code number 3. Do not be awkward on a first date. Do not read homemade poems. She will fall asleep. And lastly, do not go on about yourself. Girls hate guys who don't stop talking. Hi, I'm Wallace Stevens. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, do you live around here?
No, I just moved here.
Do you come here often?
I've only been here a couple times.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So I'll just start off by telling you about myself.
But
Okay, well, I attended Harvard University, but I actually graduated from New York Law School. And when I was 36, I published my first work in 1915. In 1923, I published my first book called Harmonium. I was actually really discouraged because nobody liked it and I got really bad reviews. So throughout the 1920s, I hardly wrote anything.
Yeah.
I worked at a couple of law firms from 1904 to 1907. In 1914, I was hired as vice president of New York office of the Equitable.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Go on.
I worked at a law firm, or I worked at the New York office of the Equitable Surety Company of St. Louis. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
In 1930s, I actually began writing poems again, and I brought one. Do you want to hear it?
If I must listen, sure.
Okay. So it's called Man Carrying Thing. The poem must resist the intelligence, almost successfully. Illustration. A ruined figure in wintry evening resists identity. The thing he carries resists. The most necessitous sense accept them. Then, as a secondary, parts not quite perceived. Of the obvious whole, uncertain particles of the uncertain solid, the primary feel free from doubt. Things floating like the first 100 flakes of snow out of the storm we must endure all night. Are you awake?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay. Out of the storm of the secondary things, a horror of thoughts that suddenly are real. We must endure our thoughts all night until the bright obvious stands motionless in the cold.
That was really nice.
Yeah. Okay. This was a great first date.
Yeah, I'll call you.
Okay. Do you need my number?
I have it, I think. So.
Okay. It was nice meeting you.
Meet you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That was just uncomfortable. Never have a first date like that. Guide code number 4. How to make it big really quick. When I was young, I moved to Europe with $80. I had a plan to be something big. It only took me a few years to make it big. I started a new style of poetry called Imaginism. It had caught a lot of the readers' attention. It made poetry to the point. Many other people have jumped onto this idea of Imaginism and started taking control of it. Since I wasn't at the head of the movement, I became an editor for up-and-coming poets. A famous poet was T.S. Eliot. His most famous writing being The Wasteland. We had become great friends, so much so that I had helped him tell his parents that he was going to quit going to Oxford and become a poet. After all this, I'd gotten back into writing about stuff that happened in World War I, like finances. This is one of my writings called The Cantos. This is an excerpt. Say, take your whole bag of tricks, letting your quirks and tweaks and say things in art form. The modern world needs such a rag bag to stuff all its thoughts in. And then we went down to the ship, set keel to breakers, formed on the godly seas, and we set up mast and sailed on the swart ship. And I got big pretty quick.
Started from the bottom.
Now I'm here. Anyone can start from the bottom and get big quick.
Guide code number 5. The life of the young struggle. You're still able to make it far in life even though you drop out of school. I'm Carl Sandberg, and I have the life of the young struggle. At 13, I dropped out of school to help pay for things for my family. And then a couple years later, I went traveling across the United States in railroad cars. After that, I went and worked in the Spanish-American War, and there I met a friend, and he told me to go back to college. And there, the professors inspired me to start doing poetry, and so I can read one of my poems to you. This one's called A Million Young Workmen. A million young workmen, straight and strong, lay stiff on the grass and roads. And the million are now under soil, and their rotten flesh will in the years feed roots of blood red roses. Yes, this million of young men slaughtered one another and never saw their red hands. Beautiful thing under the sun, if the million knew why they hatched and tore each other to death. I dreamed a million ghosts of the young workmen rose in their shirts all soaked in crimson and yelled, God damn the grinning kings, God damn the Kaiser and the Tsar. The young struggle.
It does not matter where you start. All that matters is where you finish. The young struggle. These 5 guys had made history, not only in poetry, but also in the code guys must follow in day-to-day life. Unfortunately, none of them are with us today, so out of respect, may I please have 5 seconds of silence. Thank you for watching the season finale of Guy Code. Hopefully one guy out there learned something today. Look for us on our next season coming soon. Deuces.